Let's talk about green powder today. I read a study a while back that said 1 in 10 Americans eat enough vegetables in their diet. I'm sure in our house, as many as we eat, we are still part of the other 9. So I started exploring options to add more vegetables, and I came up with green powder. I make this with homegrown vegetables, with foraged greens, and with store-bought vegetables. So come along on the journey and I'll show you how I did this. Here are some of the benefits I have found for using green powders. As always, do your own research, talk to your healthcare professional, especially if you have health issues, and then make your own decision. Don't trust a random YouTuber with your health. I use a lot of different greens in my green powder. I specifically look for spinach because it is so healthy for you. And then I use any greens or vegetables that are in the produce drawer that I don't have plans to use up before they turn into that brown slimy sludge in the drawer. So I use lettuces. I've used tops of organic carrots and beets and radishes. I'll take their leaves and wash them and pop them in. I use broccoli, cabbage, really any edible green that needs to be used up. Today I'm going to use this wintercress. It's a perennial herb that has volunteered to grow in our yard next to this black locust tree. I'm going to cut down this entire plant, wash it, and pop it in my dehydrator. I didn't cut the whole plant down. I used about half of it, and after cleaning it and plucking out any leaves that did not look like they were at their prime, I got approximately 1 tray in my dehydrator. I don't like to run my dehydrator unless it's full, so I picked some dandelion greens that I know are in an area our dogs don't go, and I filled up the other 6 trays with these washed leaves. I'll set it for 95 degrees and I'll set it for 24 hours. It won't take anywhere near that long, but I like to keep an eye on it. And this is the wintercress completely dry. As you can see, these leafy greens do not make a lot, so I am constantly dehydrating things for my green powders. And here they are about 5 hours into the dehydrating cycle. I let them go a little bit longer than I normally would because I got busy, but you really can't burn things in a dehydrator, so these are going to be fine. I popped both greens in my Ninja blender, and I'll use the frozen food setting to process these. I'll probably have to run it through about 3 times to get them small enough. So the blender full of greens that I had to pack down to get them all to fit ground down into this tiny little bit at the bottom. These are the large chunks that remained when I was done straining them. I will toss these into the chicken bucket so they can snack on them, but you could put them back in the blender and grind some more. This is just too little to be worth my effort though. This is what remained in the bowl when I was done filtering them. There are still some large chunks in there. Also, grinding does add a little bit of heat into your powder, so I put it in a bag to dehydrate it a little bit more because that heat can add moisture, and you don't want moisture in your dried products. I put my green powder in a brown paper bag and I pop it back into the dehydrator for about an hour. Once it's done, I add it to the rest of my mix. There's the powder added to my previous jar. All I have to do is shake it up, and then I add this to everything. It goes into soups, it goes into casseroles, it goes into spaghetti. Tonight it's in meatloaf. And this, they say 2 tablespoons adds an extra serving of vegetables. No, I'm sorry. 1 tablespoon adds an extra serving of vegetables in your diet. You don't even notice it. I think it's probably 2 tablespoons that do. And I put 2 tablespoons really in everything that we do. See, I've got a pot of soup going back there. I need to get some in there yet. But that is how I make green powder. Feel free to pause here if you need some ideas. If you like my videos, please take a moment to hit the like button. And I'd also appreciate it if you would subscribe.